Welcome to a special financial reality show edition of Where Did My Money Go? Today, we are cracking the #1 mystery of getting your first job, the classic case of the shrinking paycheck.
Okay, just imagine this for a second. You worked all week, you were awesome, and you know for a fact you earned a solid $500. But then your paycheck shows up, and it's only for $420. What? Where did the other $80 go? Did someone mess up? Nope. Let's get our detective hats on and investigate.
So, to solve this little mystery, we need to bring in our two main suspects. These are the things that take a little piece of your pay before it ever even gets to you. So, get ready to meet deductions and withholdings. Okay, our first suspect is called deductions. A deduction is pretty much what it sounds like. It's any money that gets subtracted from your gross earnings. Now, gross earnings is just the fancy term for that big starting number, our $500. After the deductions are taken out, what's left over is your net pay. That's the cash you actually take home. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Deductions actually come in two different flavors. First, you've got your mandatory deductions. You can think of these as totally non-negotiable. Things like taxes that, you have to pay. But then you've got voluntary deductions. And these are the ones you actually choose to pay, like if you sign up for your job's health insurance or you decide to put money into a retirement plan. All right, let's move on to our second clue. Now, this one is tied directly to those mandatory taxes we just mentioned, but here's the twist. It's something you have a little bit of control over. Let's talk about withholdings. So, withholdings are basically the estimated amount of taxes that get taken out of each paycheck. And how does your boss know how much to take out? Well, it's all based on a super important form you fill out when you get a job, called the W-4. This form is basically you telling your employer, hey, here's my situation, so here's about how much tax you should probably set aside for me. So how you fill out that W-4 is really, really important. For now, probably the biggest thing that's going to determine how much gets withheld for taxes is your filing status. Are you single or are you married? Believe it or not, that one little piece of information can change the math quite a bit. All right, quick pause here. Thinking back to those voluntary deductions we talked about, what's one you might actually want to sign up for at a job someday? Maybe a retirement plan to get a head start on saving for the future? Just something to think about. Okay, team, we've interviewed the suspects. We've gathered all the clues. Now it's time to see exactly where that money went. Let's solve this thing once and for all. Okay, let's lay it all out. We start with the full amount you earned before anyone took a penny, $500. That's your gross pay. Let's think of it as a whole pizza pie, fresh out of the oven. And boom, there goes the first slice. Remember those voluntary deductions? Let's say you decided to sign up for health insurance through work, and that costs $30 from this paycheck. That's the very first thing to come out. But wait, there's more. Next up, the government needs its piece of the pie. Here comes that mandatory tax withholding, which we know is based on your W-4 form. For our example, that's another $50. And just like that, another slice is gone. And there you have it. You start with $500 gross pay, you subtract the $30 deduction and the $50 withholding, and what are you left with? $420. That is your net pay, the actual money you get to take home. The case of the shrinking paycheck is officially closed. So, after all that detective work, what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's all about knowing the difference between the money you earn and the money you actually see in your bank account. So, let's lock this in one more time. Gross pay is the big number, right? The whole pie. Deductions and withholdings are simply the slices that get taken out for things like taxes and benefits. And what's left over? That's your net pay, the money that is truly yours to spend. And I want you to remember this. Understanding where your money is going isn't just about solving some math problem. It is the very first, most important step to being in complete control of your financial life. And now you know.